El día de hoy nos encontramos
Today we are in a wonderful, privileged, majestic place in the Siscunsi Oseta Regional Natural Park.
Estamos en uno de los lugares más importantes.
We are in one of the most important places of our paramo of Siscunsi, where we can see species of frailejones, such as the Espilitia grandiflora, a species where our oxypogon guarini feeds on the nectar of these flowers. We can also observe that the frailejón is a supremely important plant for our ecosystems, as they help us to store the water that comes from the clouds and rain. Through the hairs that are in the leaves, these collect the water and are stored in the ground. Our frailejones are those water stores that provide water to 70% of Colombians in different parts of our country. We invite you in this space to conserve, to love life, and to be those builders of a better future.
Y un mejor futuro.
We are aware today that we have to take care of this paramo, because this is where we have the hydric and frailejones that protect the water.
Donde tenemos los hídricos, ¿cierto? Y los frailejones, que son los que protegen el agua. Entonces nosotros somos conscientes.
So we are aware that we have to take care of it, because without water there is no life.
Es que él como
If we look at the heart of the frailejón,
tiene unas hojitas que son lanuitas.
it has woolly leaves. How do they receive water when it is not raining, for example in summer?
En las tardes nosotros miramos que el banco de nieve
In the afternoons, we see that the snowbanks falls in all of these mountain ranges. They absorb all the water, or what we call serene,
¿no es cierto? Todo ese sereno, esa agua que
because they have a filter inside. That is where the water comes down to the surface, and they maintain themselves with that humidity.
dentro llevan un filtro, ¿sí? Por ese filtro baja el agua a la superficie y se mantienen ellos mismos ahí con esa humedad. Pues en el verano, ¿no?
This happens in the summer because in the winter there is plenty of water left over.
El frailejón él tiene
The frailejón has a filter like this one here.
que es el que guarda el agua.
It is the one that keeps the water or sends it to the surface of the ground and keeps it alive.
El frailejón vivo, ¿no? Porque si no fuera así, entonces el frailejón en esta
Taking into account the altitude we are at, but see that it doesn't, because it has its own tank.
su tanque. No, la importancia de este páramo
This paramo is a blessing. It is necessary to get to know it,
es necesario conocerlo, darse uno cuenta.
to realize the richness that this area has.
Y no, la invitación es que vengan, nos visiten.
The invitation is to come and visit us, for example, in the cities. It is contaminated with many diseases and viruses.
Las ciudades que está contaminado de muchas enfermedades, muchos virus. No, venir y darse un baño de aire puro acá en esta zona.
The best thing is to come and take a bath in the fresh air here in this area. This is like taking a medicine practically. The people here are incredible. I'm sure you will find the noblest people in Boyacá.
¿Qué es lo especial que tiene este páramo para ofrecer?
What is this special thing that this paramo has to offer? Everything. As you can see, an incredible landscape, beautiful, the community is also beautiful, the food and the warmth.
Al llegar a este lugar,
When we arrive at this place, we also have to begin to have an interaction with the community. We realize the interaction that human beings have with the ecosystem,
sentido de la interacción que tiene el ser humano con el ecosistema, que pueden ser dañinas.
and some actions that can be harmful, such as the forms of livelihood. In these places, there are people who live who are the owners of the territory,
Todo su sustento por generaciones ha sido la ganadería, la agricultura.
and their livelihood for generations has been livestock and agriculture, which, although not extensive, even in a minimal way, does damage to the ecosystem.
De alojamiento, de un espacio donde se pueda recibir a las personas.
At the moment, beyond wanting to provide this form of accommodation in a space where we can receive people who want to come and see the place, we also wanted to start working with the community, showing them other forms of income
Y entonces ya comenzamos a hacer trabajos nosotros.
that are friendlier to the ecosystem. So we started with our idea of tourism to also integrate the community in this economic activity. For example, all the hikes are done with guides who are people from the community, and the organic food we have here at the refuge is also grown by them.
Cultivados por ellos.
Nosotros buscamos siempre articular
We always seek to articulate the communities, to work together, to build memorable experiences with the community. We cannot conceive of our tourism activity without the communities, and this has allowed us not only to start working with the inhabitants of the malls, but also to be pioneers in community birdwatching.
en nuestro departamento de Boyacá, sino también el ser
We know that if we want to conserve our frailejones species, our moorlands, our water factories, our birds, we must start by taking care of them, making the community part of the process. It is fundamental.
parte del proceso. Eso es fundamental, en que todos aprendamos.
It is fundamental that we all learn, because just as I have some knowledge, the knowledge of the community is extremely important.
Entonces, esos saberes son los que nosotros queremos resaltar.
It is this knowledge that we want to highlight with every visit and walk, not just passing through a paramo without knowing what our community has. This is fundamental.
Cuando nosotros hacemos ese tipo de turismo,
When we do this type of tourism, we will begin to strengthen the territory and generate different dynamics for it as well.
estamos muy cerca a la laguna de Siscunsi.
We are very close to the Siscunsi lagoon, a place that is home to several species of frailejones, flora and fauna.
Nuestro pato andino, Anas andium.
Among the fauna, we can find our Andean duck, Anas andeum. Also here you can see a very important duck, which is the Oxyura jamaicensis, that has a blue beak. This is really a place where life emerges. We are also very close to the House of the Condor, where we can appreciate the history of this place and get in touch with this beautiful energy, feeling the wind brushing against our face and imagining how the condor took flight from this stone. We are in a magical place
Un lugar mágico.
where I can only say it is a great generator of life.
La vida, genera vida, es generador de vida.
Por eso es que es necesario
That is why it is necessary for the farmers who live in this area to take care of the vegetation.
porque sin vegetación no tenemos hídricos, ¿no? Asimismo le hacemos
Because without vegetation, we have no water resources. So we invite people to do the same, but with the same care. The guides in this area have given us a talk about care.
se han tomado, o sea, nos han dado una charla sobre eso. Entonces la gente acá prácticamente, ellos ya son conscientes.
We are practically already aware of how to explain to a tourist that we should not mistreat the frailejones or the vegetation. We have to walk only on the traits.
También, ojo, eso sí es primordial más que todo, no dejar basura.
So that we do not damage nature, and most importantly, do not leave rubbish in this place. We can bring lunch and dinner, but we ask that we do not leave rubbish in this park.
contratos que nos dan a los guardapáramos e incluye sembrar.
In the contracts they give us to the paramo rangers, they include the planting of 1,000 frailejones, that is, 1,000 recovery plants, hopefully from the area. For me, the frailejón is the most optional for these lands, because let's see, Corpo Boyacá brought about 9,000 plants. Why? Because they brought plants that are not from this area. So we have to recover the páramo with the same plants from the area.
Si vemos, hay partes que hay demasiados.
If we look, there are parts where there are too many bushes, so they even dry out because they have little space. So we have to bring them from there and place them where there are none. What do we do? That is to say, practically the frailejón gives the seeds, right? At the foot of the big frailejón, a seed bed is born. What happens? From there you get the seedlings that you need.
Yo como guardapáramos acá del páramo de Siscunsi.
As a park ranger in Siscunsi, I have noticed that for a couple of years now,
Un par de años está viniendo como un hongo, como
a fungus or a plague has been affecting the frailejones, and I see that they are deteriorating.
que ya está totalmente seco y creo que es protagonista de esos insectos.
Here we are looking at this one that is now completely dry, and I think it is a victim of these insects, and it is already going through the same thing.
Dentro de las hojas, entonces pues creo que eso hace que
There, as you can see, it has all sorts of little animals inside the leaves.
vienen muriendo. Entonces yo me he dado cuenta de eso y pues buscaríamos la forma en...
So I think they are absorbing all the sap, and little by little they are dying. I have noticed this, and we are looking for someone to carry out investigation to see if these harmful bugs can be controlled.
el medio ambiente de acá y se terminaría las fuentes de agua que tenemos prácticamente.
Because we believe that if the frailejones run out, the environment here will deteriorate day by day, and the water sources we have will run out. The truth is that since I live in the páramo, it's not just now. Wherever I walk, the frailejón has always had this problem. I've lived here for more than 60 years, and it's not a long time since it's been affected by what I call a rust.
Una vaina que sí
A pod that does hit the heart of the frailejón, and it dries it out and it dies.
pero realmente sí hay que prestarle atención porque
What we do see in the frailejón for this deterioration is that the leaves are overrun with animals, little animals like fleas.
en el frailejón para ese deterioro es que está cundido la hoja de un poco de animales, animalitos como pulguillas, como, bueno, no sé cómo vale el nombre, ¿no?
It seems that this takes away the sap from the bush. It dries out and it dies.
Quita la savia a la mata y se seca, se muere.
Este entorno es un lugar maravilloso.
This environment is a wonderful place because we're a few countries that have the privilege of having more lands. Being able to contemplate a frailejón up close is restricted to a few departments as well.
Acá tiene el mayor número de páramos, el mayor número de frailejones.
Boyacá has the largest number of moorlands, the largest number of frailejones. We are truly blessed with the nature and the water that flows from the mountains.
Porque es la comunidad quien es la veedora.
Thanks to this and to the work of the community that is the overseer of the paramo, who becomes the guardian of the paramo, of the frailejones, but also the one who begins to monitor and plant the frailejones. As Don Isidro told us today, he told us, I take this plant and I put it in its place, because he sees the need that is required for the frailejón
El turismo sin la comunidad no se puede desarrollar.
to have a better space and for us to repopulate our paramo. This means that tourism cannot be developed without the community. Unfortunately, sometimes when we don't have the income, the community is not motivated. However, the community in the paramo, Siscunsi, has united in the preservation and conservation. In this way, we as tourism service providers and tour operators understand that it is fundamental to link the community. Paramo depends on them, not only to conserve the frailejones species, but also the flora and the fauna that exists here.